Ace.
Well, that's what Martina's going to have to do well to get a lot of first serves in. The only time that Steffi beat Martina was at that German championships last year, Cliff, where she beat Martina in straight sets.
And that was, of course, on clay, her favorite surface. And I don't think you'd bet against Steffi Graf on clay, even against Martina, would you, right now?
Whoa, did that take off? Sometimes on this court, which is basically laid down over asphalt, we're talking about cement versus asphalt. This is a little bit softer than the California courts.
Game to Martina, 1 game apiece in the first set. Last time they played was the Virginia Slims Championships, indoors on carpet. And that was a best of 5 sets. Martina won that 7-6, 6-3, 6-2. But the match that everybody remembers was the U.S. Open, of course. That was a tiebreaker in the 3rd set. And Martina won that one, of course. That was in September. I understand that the man from down under originally, Fiery Fred, or Stetson Stolle, has joined us. Welcome to you, Fred.
Thanks, Cliff. It's nice to be able to talk to you folks up there. Interesting first couple of games here. You can see the breezes blowing down the court in that last rally, but the net court judge there took a good clip in the ear off a backhand and was pretty sore for a while. But this is going to develop into a good serving match, and as you mentioned, young Steffi Graf having her problems on the serve, and Martina serving 2 aces in a first service game. Good start.
She's 17 years old, made nearly 800,000, or made over 800 rather. Pretty good. Of course, the prize money breakdown doesn't hurt her either. They're playing for the same amount of money, the men and the women, but it divided up differently. The winner will make $150,000 in the women's singles, and men 112 and change. This is when the adrenaline really flows, doesn't it, Billie Jean? Because they both had it relatively easy up to now. They both know that to win this one, they're going to have to play well.
Also, the press hasn't let them forget. Every day you walk into a press conference, they keep asking you. Well, there are the wins a factor, and I think what we talked about in the opening, and as far as what Fred was saying, that Martina is going to have to serve well, and Steffi's forehand is the dangerous shot. So far, that's what we've seen.
That was break point, and this is deuce.
That was a better approach on that one, Billie Jean. On the game point, I think Martina was a little tentative on that backhand approach, and Steffi was able to come over the backhand. That one, she didn't have time.
Well, I think we can see already the pattern that's going to be set up. Martina's going to try to chip that backhand when possible.
Fred, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Disagree with me if you will, but watch the serve toss of Steffi Graf. She throws it up a couple of feet at least higher than where she makes contact. Isn't that going to hurt her in the wind?
I agree with you there, Cliff, but my point is that with Martina is serving and volleying, and Steffi is not going to do that. So even if she can get that first serve in at 3/4 pace, Martina's not going to be able to crowd the net, but Martina's going to have difficulty serving and volleying in the wind.
We're always taught growing up that when you play in these kinds of conditions, that you should always go for a 3/4 speed first serve.
in small.
Semi-final women's singles. Fred, a story from down there courtside.
Yes, there's a boisterous fan just sitting in the box behind me, Cliff, and every time Steffi Graf hits one, he jumps up and yells out, yeah, yeah. So Richard Ings, the chair umpire, has asked him to leave it to the players on the court. And Martina said, you better quieten down before we have you thrown out of here. And if Steffi's going to win, she's going to do it without you yelling out from there.
15 love.
See, I think that's where Steffi's so smart. I feel a lot of the players try to pound that service return too much against someone like Martina who has a great serve. It's better to chip the first one back and then go for the passing shot.
All. This is live. Key Biscayne, Cliff Drysdale and Billie Jean King. Fred Stolley's at courtside. Semi-final match. Tonight, Hannah Manlikova and Chris Everett Lloyd at 7 o'clock.
Good second serve there, and Graf pulled off that backhand, didn't go forward on it, chipped it into the net. She's got the wind working with her from that end as well.
Now Steffi Graf has a break point. You'll be able to see the women's final, by the way, 9:30 West Coast time. That'll be just after midnight on the East Coast on March 8th. That's Saturday night. Oh, yeah.
2 winters ago, Steffi Graf took 2 or 3 months off in the winter and worked on her backhand, and it's been coming good since. There she had a much firmer wrist and stayed over the ball. Earlier, as Fred Stolley mentioned, she was coming off that backhand return. That's the only time she misses it. This last winter, Cliff, she worked on her serve. She'd like to be coming up to net more. So slowly but surely, she just keeps rounding out her all-court game. There's a good first serve. She's one of the few players that takes a big break during the winter and works on a stroke or two, which I think is smart, especially at this age. Fred, can you tell if Martina's getting under that forehand or not? Because I always feel that she lets the ball drop a little too much and doesn't get up to it.
Yeah, no, she's a little low on that one, and I think she's letting it get a little low. She's hitting it round about her ankles, and Steffi's got a lot of slice on that particular shot she did have, because she's hitting with the wind and it kept very low on that occasion.
Good approach shot down the middle of the court. Tough to find an angle from there. Steffi couldn't. It's 30-15 now, but she has a break. Leads 3-1. First set.
Well, ideally, Steffi would rather take that off the forehand, but Martina did not give her time to run around her backhand. Let's take a look at the great champion that Martina is. Look at the footwork and the balance, getting to the ball, always getting back and being prepared, keeping her eyes on the ball at all time. Here you see her go forward. Watch out, that stutter step, and then a good passing shot from Steffi Graf, but still Martina on balance.
You have the feeling, don't you, that Martina could have been anything she wanted in athletics. But she is trailing 4-1 here against West German Steffi Graf in the first set of the semi-final women's singles match. We'll be back with more live from Key Biscayne at the Lipton International in a moment. 4 games to 1. Steffi Graf only 1 serve break. Martina to serve. Fred, Martina had something to say at the wait after this point. Tell us about, I guess you heard her say something. I want to hear that again.
Now, on the changeover, when she lost that last game, she berated the wind. You can see how breezy it is, blowing her shirt all over the place, and she says, I need to serve better. So we mentioned at the start of the show that that would be an important factor in this match.
Let's take the wind out of it. If you have to consider surfaces, the best chance that Steffi Graf has to win is on clay. I think you have to give her second best chance on this surface right here. It's a relatively slow, hard court. On grass, she'd have her best chance of all.
What a weapon Steffi Graf has in this forehand drive. Watch as she just gears up and just hits it so hard and low over the net, so it makes it very difficult for Martina to read it. The players all say Steffi hits the ball the hardest, Cliff, off that forehand.
I believe it. Seems to me, Billie Jean, that she's taken a leaf out of Lendel's book on that return of serve, just chipping it down, trying to get it back.
Most of the young Europeans do copy him a lot.
So do you all.
Look at the wind. Take that ball right out of court. Because Steffi did calculate properly. You just don't know what's going to happen after the ball leaves your racket.
Game point. Oh. Who would have thought she'd had time to get to that ball and still hook it cross court? Well, she's a great athlete and everybody knows it, including Steffi Graf. Watch it, Billie Jean.
Well, Martina always loved to go wide on her volleys, even as a youngster, and she's still doing it better than anyone.
4-2, Steffi. Problem with that approach shot, when you hit it down the side that the wind is blowing the ball to the right, of course you've got to be careful to try to give yourself a little leeway.
You do. You have to hit down the middle of the court a lot more than you like to, and especially against Steffi's forehand, it gets you in trouble.
Well, I like the little stutter step there. The lines person at the back of the court, it was a little late on the call, and Steffi just went to point at the markers. Oh, that's down. So it was called.
Steffi was runner-up here in this championship last year. She lost to Christopher Lloyd in the final. Martina didn't play. Game point. 5 games to 2. One breaker serves. Steffi Graf ahead. First set. We'll be back. Tell you what, Billie Jean, they don't mess about. You get a guy like McEnroe out there, or even a Lendl, he'll take his time some. They just get on with it. Boom, bam, and whack.
No, the women go really fast. Look at the grip difference, but look where they hold the racket, at what level. Steffi on your left holds it much higher. Look how low Martina's racket. It's interesting. Well, the changeover, Fred Stolley and I and Cliff were talking about how Steffi is just playing the conditions so much better than Martina up to this point.
There's a confidence about the way that she walks that for a 17-year-old is really singular. Watch her.
That's the 4th ace from Martina. That's about what she's going to have to do, it looks like.
This is a big point. Martina needs it.
Out. 30.
That same serve right there saved Martina a match point in that U.S. Open match. That went into the right hip of the right-hander. But that Steffi returns that better than most right-handers. Now, I think Martina should hit that serve more often on the deuce court, Cliff, because Steffi likes to run around her backhand, particularly on that side. So I think that was a smart move from Martina.
Game point. Martina wins this. Steffi will serve for the first set.
I can't believe how much faster the women play than the men. The women average about 10 to 12 seconds between points when they're getting ready to serve, and the men are like around 20, 24 seconds.
I thought you were saying that the men had the 10 to 12. I was going to say no way, Billie Jean, because they're out there. Sometimes they use the full 30 seconds knowingly because they want the break. I like it this way. Let's get on with it.
Well, Martina, you see, just stopping, getting in position. But look how the wind took that out. Believe me, she was not trying to hit it there.
Play the point much better than Martina played it, Billie Jean. The return was deep and it was down the middle.
It is, but I feel like when Steffi hits right back to Martina, Martina has trouble. And she's been smart on that because she knows it's windy, first of all, and Martina would rather lunge for her volley than have to hit the one right at her.
It is set point, 2 of them in a row for Steffi Graf. Set to Steffi Graf, 6-3, more in a moment.
Graf. Steffi Graf serve. If you see, the cameraman had to stay back away from this just to get that toss in, Cliff.
Yep.
But good lineup on the beginning. Good knee bend, shoulder turn, up. Her head's up, still looking at the ball, and out towards the court. That's what you want to do.
15.
Noah over Wielander last night in a 5-set, tiebreaker in the 5th set. Extraordinarily exciting match.
Yeah, it was 7-4 in the tiebreaker. Unbelievable.
Lendl easily over Jay Berger, 3-1-1. And Miloslav Machir, the bane of the Swedes, beat number 2 seed Stefan Edberg. So in the men's semi-final, you have Miloslav Machir, U.S. Open finalist, against Yannick Noah and Ivan Lendl and Jimmy Connors.
I remember watching a Steffi 5 years ago at Wimbledon when she was very thin and tiny, and she could either slice her backhand or come over it thin, and I was very impressed, and she just missed that. But she's willing to try the right shot at the right time. You're not going to pass Martina that easily with a chip shot. It's too slow.
Martina had given her that one. She said, great shot, and then it hit the tape and, of course, went out of court.
First game, second set. Martina holds on to serve, but she lost the first set to Steffi Graf, 6-3.
It's the annual review of NEC Computers, and it seems they're still the world's biggest manufacturer of integrated circuits.
It's 1 game to love in the second set. Martina Navratilova, she lost the first Lipton International Players Championship semi-final, women's singles.
Well, the first set stats, it looks like to me, Cliff, that Graf is just better in every department. First serve, except for aces. She's got less unforced errors, more winners, and 3 for 3 at net.
Martina came in how many times?
24 times. 9 for 24. Steffi's... See, I think Martina's making a lot of unforced errors on her volleys. But remember, it's windy. And Fred was talking about that earlier. And it's really tough. You've got to just keep moving forward all the time when it's a windy day and you're volleying.
Billie Jean, in the first service game of Martina in this particular set, she was very aggressive on the second serve, and I think if she's to get into this match, she's got to go with what made her #1. She's aggressive, she likes to go to the net, she's got to take it to the young West German. I don't think she can stay at the back of the court because Graf's ground strokes are just too solid, and she's hitting with topspin, controlling the ball in the wind.
That's what Martina's going to have to do. Watch how Martina steps in on the second serve. Stands way inside the baseline. Look at, see, she's far in. Watch her move forward and lines up for that down the line shot. Just what Fred Stolle was talking about.
Billy, she is not winning coming into the net. I want you to respond to what Fred said. Is there any reason for her to try something different, specifically to stay back and rally with Steffi, or is that just not going to work?
No, that's not going to work. What's happening is Martina's not executing. She's really missed some easy, well, kind of easy shots. They're not that easy because it's windy today. But even that last shot, she's not executing.
I'll go with the both of you on that, by the way.
Ooh.
One game all second set. I'll add to that, though, that it's kind of frustrating when you're playing against somebody. You're playing your game. You're not winning. As you say, Billie Jean, you're not executing. So the only thing that can make a difference is that you've got to start executing. Of course, Steffi Graf has something to say about that.
Well, Steffi's executing right. You know, golfers know that on a windy day, you have to keep the ball low and try to hit through the wind. The higher the ball goes up, the more the conditions are going to affect play. And Steffi, with that big forehand that stays low, she's actually hitting through the wind.
Cliff, early in the show, you got a commitment from both Billie Jean and myself. You've sat on the fence for a while. Steffi's won the first set. Now, do you want to have a pick?
This is your chance.
Take a look at this one first. I'll refer to it later, Fred.
Well, everybody talks about Steffi's forehand, and what makes it difficult is you have trouble reading it. See, Martina thought that was going to go down the line. She's going to hook it. She can hit on the outside of the ball and make it go cross court at the last moment. Steffi was hoping. She'd already started to take a hike to the other side, just inside the line.
Fred, if I were Jimmy the Greek going into this thing, I'd have to call this a 50-50 call in spite of the fact that it's 5-1 for Martina, because I think on this surface it kind of neutralizes Martina's game. The wind certainly does. We've talked about that. With Steffi ahead a set, I think you've got to go with her now, sure. I've also said before I'd hate to bet against Martina. we're on this who do you go for business, tonight's match, Chris Evert-Lloyd and Anna Mandlikova, it's another 50-50 call in my judgment.
It really depends on how Hannah plays.
Right.
She'll dictate. Well, we get our instant replay and get to see what we think at home. And up here, looked darn good from here, Cliff.
It did to me too. I think it was on. Take a look at the forehand of Steffi Graf, one of the really great shots in the sport. And Steffi Graf is about to serve at 2-1 for Martina, second set.
Running forehand of Steffi Graf. See how she's prepared. See how she's up on her toes. She's ready. She watched the early preparation of the racket head on the second frame. And at point of contact, racket is square to the ball. She's over it. Oh, it's perfect.
Technically, I think Graf's playing a tremendous match here at the moment because she's serving and getting most of the shots to Martina's forehand. In the wind, that is the one that's breaking down. With the slice, she can control the ball a little bit better in the wind. Forehand, she doesn't have much of a margin for error on that shot.
Well, that's what Martina's going to have to do.
30-15.
It's Randy Crawford on the left of your screen. He was out here earlier today playing with Martina. He is her new coach, along with Virginia Wade, who helps her with strategy.
Well, it looked like to me Martina just ran through the ball, Cliff, and she, to me, opens her body too early now on her forehand. I liked her old forehand better when she lined up and stayed sideways longer, because that way she hit through the ball and stayed over it. I don't feel like she turns enough on that anymore. We've been talking about it.
And she lets it get too low, as you mentioned.
She hurt us. That's why she's such a great champion. She can correct during the match.
Played that one almost from head high, didn't she? That serve got up, actually. Game point for Graf still. Fingers in the air, meaning that she's had what now? 3 let chords. Fred, can you figure that one out, or Billie Jean?
You know, sometimes things are just on your side. She must have got out of the bed the right way today. Watch this. It just hit the top of the net. Martina has no play on it. I think Martina was thinking, why couldn't that happen to me when I need it?
I think that Martina at this point, Billie Jean, I know she is mentally down. You leave something like that, it means that she's beginning to think. You know, you don't play when you think, you don't play sort of naturally. Once you start to think about too many things, your game tends to break down. Well, you very seldom see her leave a shot that lands in. 15.
In the dressing room 30 minutes before the match, Martina was eating noodles and drinking water.
I was watching Steffi, that call. There's a little bit of a split step she made there also, as if to say, boy, I thought I might hear that, but I was hoping that you'd be quiet. It's 30-15.
Well, that's something we haven't seen from Martina, is play the first half volley and then scamper back to the baseline.
Martina's percentage is getting better this set, 8 of 13. Call that 60%. Better than last set. And it shows in the score. They're 2 apiece and 30 all now.
There's not a thing Martina Navratilova can do on this except watch it. Graf's already lined up. She's going to go and let me play the wind. She's playing the conditions much better, Steffi Graf is.
Serve for Steffi Graf, 3 games to 2 now in the second set. She won the first set, 1 serve break, 6 games to 3. 3 games to 2, Graf, serve break, second serve. She won the first 6-1. Semi-final women's singles from the Lipton. Mr. and Mrs. Graf are here. Martina Navratilova is here. German television is here. They've been here for a while, so French television. There are a whole slew of other countries going to carry this championship final, both women's and men's. Line ball. Martina's giving that mark, if there is one there, a long look pointing to where she thinks it might have landed, but she's not getting any sympathy from either the man in the chair or the linesperson, and it is 15 all. The last tournament that Steffi played was at Virginia Slims of Florida.
10 days ago.
10 days ago, beat Helena Sukova in the final easily. Pam Shriver in the semis.
That's the first tournament for Steffi since the Virginia Slims Championships in early November.
And that, by the way, was a big point for Steffi Graf. An ace on that first serve. Watch it.
And it's her first one. Look, nice and deep. Nothing you can do about that.
Difference between 30 all and 15-40. It's 30 all.
Biggest game in the match for me right here. I think Steffi Graf right now thinks she can win.
Oh, yeah. Talk about anticipation. Martina knew exactly where that one was going, and she was all over it. Deuce. The wind kept the serve return in and then held up the ball on that forehand from Steffi Graf, and all of a sudden, it's break point for Martina. Martina taking a little bit off the first serve, Billie Jean, because she did, at least Steffi taking something off the first serve. She didn't want Martina to hit the second serve and come in.
Smart play in the wind. Keep it deep. Make Martina hit the ball. That's exactly what she did. Got an unforced error.
Back to deuce. Winner of this match will play the winner between Chris Evert-Lloyd and Australian Open champion Hannah Mandlikova. They're going to play this evening. Game point. Glasgow with Billie Jean King. Fred Stolley is at courtside. This is the women's semi-final match of the Lipton International Players Championship. We are speaking to you live from Key Biscayne, Florida, a stone's throw from Miami. 128 draw, closing in on the end of this championship. Of course, we have been here since Monday a week ago. 14 days of coverage on ESPN. 3 exciting days to come, of course. You know, there was only one breaker serve in the first set. Martina, as you watch it on the replay, call it, Billie Jean.
Steffi's coming to net. This is what she's been working on. Watch this backhand. She turns her shoulder and hits down the line. I think she's 6 for 6 at net.
That first serve from Billie Jean. Billie Jean.
I wish.
From Martina. Long on the return, it's 15 all.
Well, there you see Martina acknowledge Steffi. Steffi's backhand is getting better all the time because that's the one that used to break down.
Well, there are only 2 sides she has, Billie Jean, a backhand side and a suicide, and you just saw her hit the latter. That forehand is not something you want to mess with. It's 15-40, and she already has a breaker serve 4-2. Either one of these next 2 points converted for Steffi Graf will give her 2 breaks and 5-2 in the second. Martina had 2 chances to break in the first set. She's had 1 so far in this set and hasn't converted yet. What a break for Martina that hit the tape and stood up to get hit. She never put it away, but if one of a number of other things had happened, this could have been almost all over. Back to deuce.
There you see Martina showing you how the wind kept changing direction when that ball came over. I think it's a smart play to hit right at Martina on that first shot. Paid off again.
Third break point of the game.
Martina's trying to toss that ball way out to the left to get a lot of slice to Steffi's backhand, but she's not getting up to it.
When we come back, Steffi Graf will be serving for the match. She has a set and Hewlett-Packard Women's Computer. Steffi Graf is serving for the match against the world's number 1.
Long 15. 30.
Fred, how high is Steffi's serve bouncing? Is it really high on that, especially the second serve?
Second serve is getting up pretty high, Billie Jean, and they're the ones that Martina can handle. I think she can handle that one, but it's that last shot off the ground that I think she's getting the ball. She's getting under the ball, and the ball's getting down too low. It's the one around the waist or shoulder that she's been able to penetrate. But off that low one, she hasn't been consistent at all.
The last point you saw was break point for Martina, of course. We're back to deuce. Graf for a place in the final. So first double fall of the match. Well, she may be in the zone, Billie Jean, but everybody feels the pressure of serving for it all, don't they?
They sure do, and it's so difficult to win that last point.
Break point again. This is the second of this game.
Well, Martina chose to let this backhand go, thinking it was going to go long, at least hoping and praying, and the wind kept it in.
It's happened to her 3 times in the match so far.
Here, look how she chose to go wide and low to Martina's forehand, and she knew that Martina was going to hit cross, but watch how Martina gets in and has to really stretch this low volley. It's a tough shot to hit.
Match point. Well, the 2 major championships of this
Plage